Back there. So now you've got a lovely impression of what you look like.
Of Old English history here, the steam train pulling into Haworth in the Yorkshire Valley. They had so much personality, steam trains. They used to cross this country, crisscross every neck of the woods. They're part of our folklore. They're written there, they're in the fiction, they're in the theatre, in the cinema. It's such a magical experience to see a steam train. Old England. It's good to look back and say thanks for all the great things this country has done for us, and all the great richness of its culture and its industry and its technology, and the way it's evolved over time. And it's our inheritance, it belongs to us. We need to keep it, you know, because it's under threat. So much of our country is changing and being taken from us, and yet it's so valuable. Wouldn't it be good if we could pass this on to the next generation? That the people who run this country made it their mission to protect our culture, our way of life, our inheritance, instead of just throwing it away, opening the gates and letting the whole world flood in, consume us. No, we want to keep what is ours, and this is something worth keeping. The Haworth in West Yorkshire, outside the church, where the father of the Bronte sisters was the vicar many years. It's a wonderful part of Old England. It's built in fine Yorkshire stone, and it's got an atmosphere about it. You know, you look at the streets walking up, look how steep that street is. And it's a real effort just to walk up this street. Hopefully it's a lot easier to walk down. And it's still a lively little village here. Beautiful part of England, place where you can come and appreciate our history and our culture and everything that's good about our country. But unfortunately, if you go not far from here, you'll enter a different world. Bradford, Keighley, these are areas that are being colonised by immigrants mainly from Pakistan and other parts of the Islamic world, and where the English culture has all but disappeared. So they're not going to be interested in maintaining our histories and traditions. They'll probably just push them aside. And this is the strange consequence of mass immigration, that people who come to our country supposedly to assimilate, to join in with us, are actually replacing us, dispossessing us firstly, and then imposing their own culture on this land. So there's a great sense of loss, as well as a sense of reverence for the past. There's a great sense of loss about what's actually taking place here. And of course there are also a lot of unpleasant consequences from that. There have been big scandals with grooming gangs in Keighley and in Bradford, where young English girls have been groomed, raped and prostituted. And this has affected thousands of young girls. It's really horrific when you read the stories, and it's led to many of these Pakistani men being taken to court, being incarcerated for their crimes. But far more have actually walked free and have never been touched by the police. Of course, not only just thousands of young English girls who have suffered, it's been thousands of Pakistani men who've used them as prostitutes. These are underage girls. This is an horrendous crime which has taken place in proximity of this historic place. This is the contrast to present-day England. We're in the graveyard standing next to the house where the Brontes lived. Famous Bronte sisters, Charlotte, Anne and Emily. We've just visited the house, which is very well preserved, and very atmospheric. We're now standing in the churchyard. You can hear the sound of the bell at 5:15. The classic English ding dong, ding dong. Very tragic, the house. A tragic feel about it. All the Bronte sisters and their brother Bramwell and their mother died prematurely. In fact, Charlotte Bronte died in the first year of marriage while she was just pregnant. So there's an air of tragedy about it. This we're in a graveyard, so obviously there's death all around us. And the church itself collapsed in 1879 because of the amount of water coming off the moors and the sewage that was building up here. The only remaining part of the original medieval church is the base of the church. You can tell with the difference in the stones, the laying of the stones. The Victorian church is very regular, whereas the medieval is very irregular, but still very solid, of course. So we're back into another piece of English history. The family's church, the Bronte's church, where their father was a vicar for many years. He was educated at Cambridge University, St John's College. He was actually an Ulsterman. He came over to England to study and was given a appointment here, was ordained here as the vicar. And sadly the church collapsed in 1879. It just sunk due to the high water levels down here. This is why they planted all these trees, to soak up the water, to dry the ground a bit. This is a very wet part of England, the Yorkshire moors. And yeah, I love the parish churches. I love the architecture. I love the fact that people worshipped here for so many years. They sang the great hymns, all things bright and beautiful. Dear Lord and Father of my kind, abide with me, amazing grace. It's all part of our culture and our heritage, and it was really a living heritage for centuries. But sadly, again, not many people know the hymns today. We know Christmas carols, but we don't sing many hymns. And sadly, not many people attend the Church of England. I blame the Church of England for that, because it watered down its theology. It became very liberal. Instead of defending our nation, speaking up for the English people, making sure we had strong borders and decent moral values, standing up against the liberal onslaught, they simply submitted to the liberal onslaught and become part of it. And they lost what was distinctive. They lost their soul, the Church of England. And I think that's why the English people deserted it. Because it's a dying church now. Very few people go to the Church of England anymore. Of course, it's run by women mainly now. Women priestesses and even women bishops now, which is a total absurdity. It's against all biblical teaching. So we've lost our national church. We need to reinvigorate our national culture. And that has to be based on the Christian faith, on a firm belief, not only in God, but in the biblical teachings, the biblical morality, which was the basis of family life in this country, which was the basis of our national strength. I mean, Queen Victoria was asked what was the foundation stone of the British Empire, and she said the Bible. It's been fantastic to come here today and just soak up a bit of English history, you know. It's a real heritage site, this. Probably a world heritage site. And the buildings, look at these buildings, look at this stonework here. They're rock solid, they're built with stone, not brick. They won't fall down. And this is old England. It had a permanence about it, it had a strength about it. It had a richness about it, which was extraordinary. And the culture that comes from these sorts of places was projected all over the world. It gave the world its language and its ideas, and its culture, you know. The father of the Brontes was the local vicar in the church here, St Michael and All Angels, and yeah, it's a great richness here. And this is something that we should be proud of as English people, something we should hold on to, and something we should value, something we don't want to lose. With immigration now is that people coming into this country And instead of observing our culture and becoming part of this rich heritage, they want to replace it with their own culture. They just want to simply dispossess us and take control of what is ours. And we've got to be aware of that. We've got to fight it. We've got to stand up to it and say no. We've got to assert the fact this is our country, our heritage. Our ancestors built up this nation, and we've got a duty to conserve it and hand it on to the next generation. That's the English way of life. We value the past and we hand it to the future. And this is a place that deserves to be handed to our future, to our children, because it's so wonderful. Thank you.